You've probably heard that 95% of laundromats survive their first 5 years, and it's the exact statistic that launched 1,000 passive income videos. There's one problem with it. When someone finally traced where that number came from, it turned out to be loan repayment data from a single lender, meaning it counted how many people paid back their equipment loan, not how many businesses stayed alive. Across every U.S. small business, only about half of them ever reach year 5. A boring box of spinning drums that has barely changed in decades quietly runs a 27% profit margin, while the internet keeps selling you a survival rate that was never real. Let's figure out what actually holds up. Every business looks simple from the outside. Money in, money out. But the real business is the part you never see. Today we take apart the laundromat line by line until we know what it costs, what it really pays, and where the money quietly disappears. Let's open the books. On the surface, a laundromat earns money in the most boring way imaginable, where somebody feeds coins into a machine, the machine runs, and you keep the difference. Wash income carries the store, and the dryers usually pile another 40 to 60% on top of that. Underneath the coin business, though, the modern laundromat has quietly grown a second body. Wash, dry, fold, where customers drop off a bag and pay you to handle the whole thing, plus pickup and delivery now account for 25 to 35% of revenue across a lot of city and suburban stores. Delivery happens to be the fastest growing corner of the entire industry, and more than a third of operators already offer it. One word quietly runs this whole business, and that word is turns. A single turn means one full cycle on one machine, and the industry lives or dies by turns per day, which is simply how many times each machine runs between opening and closing. A struggling store manages under 3, an average store lands between 3 and 5, and a strong one pushes 6 to 8. Same machines, same floor space, and the only thing that moved was how often each drum spun. Everything else you're about to hear is really one long fight to lift that single number. Getting into this business means choosing between two very different doors. Behind the first one, you build from scratch, and putting up a laundromat from the ground up runs somewhere between $200,000 and over $500,000. Behind the second door, you buy a store that already exists and fix it up, which usually lands between $75,000 and $250,000. Whichever door you pick, one line item towers over the rest, and that's the equipment. Machines swallow 50 to 70% of your entire budget, where a single commercial front-load washer costs a few $1,000s while the big 60-pound-plus machines climb to $10,000 or $15,000 each, and you need a whole wall of them. Here's the part almost nobody warns you about. Buying a tired old laundromat for roughly $150,000, then pouring another $450,000 into it to bring it back to life is completely normal. Think of the purchase price as the deposit, because the renovation is the real bill. Take a quick detour with me, because it explains a lot about this business. The first self-service laundry opened its doors in Fort Worth, Texas, back in 1934, and they called it a washateria, which literally smashes together wash and cafeteria. Here's the strange part. It had no dryers at all, so customers washed their clothes and then carried them home soaking wet to hang up. This entire industry started life as half a machine. Opening the doors is one job, and keeping them open is a completely different one, which is where the laundromat finally shows you what it truly is. A laundromat isn't really in the laundry business at all. It lives in the utility business. Water, gas, and electricity define the cost of this entire industry. And inside an efficient modern store, those utilities hover around 15% of revenue. Inside an old store running tired equipment, they can devour up to 40%. That gap between 15 and 40 is the whole difference between a healthy laundromat and a dying one. Rent lands next, quietly claiming about a quarter of everything you bring through the door. Stacked on top of that, you've got insurance, repairs, supplies, card processing fees, skimming every transaction, and then the people. Staffing turns into a genuine decision here. Some stores run completely unattended, with the owner just swinging by to collect cash and tidy up, while others carry full attendance and a wash, dry, fold crew. And payroll on those can eat 15 to 25% of revenue. More service means more staff, which means more cost, and that fork in the road reshapes how the entire business runs. Let's talk about what genuinely comes in, the honest version rather than the highlight reel. A single wash usually vends for $2 to $4, and a dry runs $1.50 to $2.50, which sounds like pocket change. Stack enough turns across enough machines, though, and it compounds fast, because the median laundromat pulls in around $335,000 a year. That one word, median, is carrying an enormous amount of weight. The full range is staggering, where a small store might scrape a few hundred to $1,000 a week, while a large full-service operation pushes toward $50,000 in that same week. Same industry, wildly different endings, and the gap almost always traces back to two things, which are location and turns per day. Demand refuses to stay flat, too. Weekends and mornings are your peak, spring and fall tend to run hotter, and for big stretches of every single week, you're paying rent and utilities on machines that just sit there doing nothing. That idle capacity is the silent tax buried inside this business. Here's the real question, which is whether the math genuinely works. So let's actually run the numbers on that median store. It starts with $335,000 a year coming through the door. The store keeps roughly 27% of that as operating profit, which lands at about $90,000 a year, or somewhere near $7,500 a month. That number sounds like a comfortable living, and two warnings come stapled to it. First, that $90,000 sits before taxes, before loan payments, and before you pay yourself a single dollar. So please don't mistake it for your take-home. When laundromats actually change hands, the typical owner's real earnings shake out closer to $76,000 a year, which works out to a little over $6,000 a month once everything's accounted for. Second, that margin keeps shrinking because as of 2026, the rising cost of equipment and utilities has squeezed it down from 27% toward 22%. And on that same median store, 22% turns that $90,000 into roughly $74,000. The revenue never moved, yet $16,000 quietly vanished. The payback timeline is where you really have to watch who's doing the talking. Anyone selling you a laundromat will promise 3 years, while the franchise's own published numbers quietly say 5 to 7. That distance between 3 and 7 is basically the distance between the sales pitch and the spreadsheet. Now we reach the single most important stretch of this whole video, which I call the leaking bucket. The fastest way to bleed money in a laundromat has nothing to do with one bad month. It comes from the slow drips that never show up on any statement. The first drip is the big one, and it's old machines. An aging top loader can guzzle 29 to 45 gallons of water for one load, while a modern high-efficiency machine sips 15 to 30, sometimes under 10, every single wash forever. You're pouring that difference straight down the drain. The second drip is frozen prices. Utility costs creep upward quietly year after year, and one store that started with utilities at 20% of revenue watched that figure climb to 25% within 7 years purely because nobody ever raised prices to keep pace. The fix borders on insulting in how small it is, because on a 40-washer store, nudging a single wash-up by 1/4 can generate around $18,000 a year. That's 25 cents. The third drip hides inside the machines themselves, which are practically engineered to die. Industry veterans will flatly tell you the equipment is built to fail across 12 to 15 years, and the owners who survive quietly retool every 5 to 7, replacing gear before the collapse instead of after it. The ones who don't wake up one morning to a repair bill the size of a down payment. Sitting underneath all of it are running toilets, dead machines earning nothing, processing fees nibbling every swipe, and lease clauses that quietly hand utility hikes straight to you. None of it ever announces itself as a dramatic loss because it just leaks. Say the money genuinely works, and the next question becomes, who can still shut you down? Start with the good news, which is that a laundromat isn't a licensed profession, so there's no exam and no special state license waiting for you. The bad news is that your real gatekeeper turns out to be the building itself. This is a construction and utility business at heart, and the most expensive mistake in the entire industry is signing a lease before confirming the location can actually carry the water, gas, sewer, and electrical load you need. People sign first, discover the building can't deliver, and by then the rent clock has already started ticking. Once you're open, a rotating cast starts knocking, including the fire marshal inspecting dryer lint and venting, building and code enforcement, and the water and wastewater authority. One more catches owners completely off guard, and that's the ADA. Federal accessibility rules demand that a specific share of your machines stay usable by people with disabilities, so if you run up to 3 washers, at least 1 has to comply, and once you pass 3, at least 2 must. Laundromats genuinely get sued over exactly this, whether it's wrong height changers, folding tables, or parking. Here's one last quirk worth carrying with you. In 42 of the 45 states that charge sales tax, self-service laundry sits exempt, but the moment you fold the laundry for the customer, that wash-dry-fold service often flips to taxable. Same building, different tax rules, decided entirely by who pushed the button. So who's actually feeding every one of these machines? Here comes the number that explains the whole business, because roughly 19.5 million American households, about 16% of them, own no washer and dryer at all. Cities crank that reality far higher, since in metros like New York and Los Angeles, well over a quarter of homes lack in-home laundry. That's your customer base, and it skews overwhelmingly toward renters, with the typical self-service customer sitting at a household income near $23,000 a year. That single fact completely reshapes how you actually win them over. You'd assume the whole thing comes down to price, and you'd be wrong. Ask customers what makes them pick one laundromat over another, and safety, cleanliness, service, and whether a machine is even free all outrank the cost of a wash. Your marketing then becomes mostly the store itself, which means staying clean, staying safe, staying open, and surfacing on the map when somebody nearby searches. The biggest marketing decision you'll ever make in this business is the one you lock in before opening a single door, and that's where you put it. That carries us straight into the hardest truth in this entire video. Most laundromats that fail didn't fail because the owner ran them badly. They failed because of a decision made long before the doors ever opened, which was choosing a spot for cheap rent instead of renter density. Location isn't one ingredient in this business. In this business, location basically is the business. The owners who make it share a fairly specific toolkit where they can read a neighborhood, negotiate a lease, wrestle utility costs into line, and ideally fix a machine themselves instead of paying for every service call. Notice what never shows up on that list, which is doing laundry. That whole passive income fantasy deserves an honest look, too. Even a fully unattended store still needs somebody collecting cash, cleaning, and keeping the equipment alive and absentee. Hands-off ownership is one of the most reliable ways to watch a laundromat slowly rot. One last thing tends to surprise people because this is a recession-resilient business. When money tightens and people can't afford a home washer, more of them drift toward the laundromat instead, which is a strange sort of comfort for an owner. So that's the laundromat, $200,000 to $500,000 to build from scratch. Once you're open, roughly 3/4 of every dollar walks right back out the door in rent, utilities, and upkeep. And you'll wait anywhere from 3 years to 7 before you truly see your money back, depending on whether you believe the seller or the spreadsheet. Worth it? It's a real business, just not a passive one, and almost everything rides on a location decision you make before day one. Next time, we take apart vending machines, and those numbers are stranger than these. Same place, same math, books closed,